Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Nintendo Switch. This is part 2, so if you'd like to hear about the new features and changes added for Deluxe, please check out part 1 if you haven't already. So last time we played a bunch of the new battle mode, but today we're not gonna be lighting any toads on fire. Well, maybe if we have time. Today we're gonna be racing and trying to unlock some more of those new carts. So let's get into that. I did want to mention a change for Deluxe that is very nice is that for these first 3 engine classes, if you get a trophy in one, you also get it in the slower classes as well. So it's kind of the game's way of saying, hey, you beat 150cc, you know, we know, you could probably beat 50cc easily as well. So here you go, here's a trophy. Now, today we're going to race as Bowser Jr., one of the new characters in Deluxe, because we did just unlock the Bone Rattler, so let's give him a cool tricycle with a colorful parachute. He is still a kid after all. He's driving around on a tricycle that his dad probably built for him. And we're going into the Mushroom Cup. This one actually has 2 tracks that link in with 2 of the new battle maps, which is kind of cool. The first one here, Mario Kart Stadium, it's probably in the same city, but at nighttime. Battle Stadium takes place during the day. And I don't know, maybe this is New Donk City. It was years before that was probably even imagineered by the Nintendo developers. But I like to believe that we're smack dab in the racing district of New Donk City. All right, so one of the changes between Deluxe and Mario Kart 8 is they took out fire hopping, which if you're not familiar, King Boo and his big old bad wagon. If you're not familiar with fire hopping, it's whenever you boost from doing a trick off of a ramp or drifting or using a mushroom, anytime you would get these little boosts, you would be able to hop back and forth and get a little bit more momentum out of the boost. It lasts a little bit longer when you do this sort of pattern. I never really got a good grasp of it, but it was removed because I think it was supposed to be just something the developers maybe didn't realize before they put the game out. Not necessarily an exploit, but an unintended feature that they figured they would take out of the game. So there we go. For balance issues and whatnot, they wanted to take that out. But some of the other things, we were just talking about the other classes and things. I'm going to move on to 200cc eventually here. Give me the... I was hoping to get a super horn, but didn't work out. So yeah, once we play through a bit of the game, I'm going to jump into 200cc, and you'll see the value of the smart steering that helps you stay on the track in that mode. But there are also 200cc time trials now if you want to practice and get familiar with the faster speed a little easier. Jeez, so many coins. Something that was in the last Mario Kart 8 iteration that I didn't actually notice is that the coins, you only get as many as your max in the race. So if I get 10 here, then we're set, and that's how many we're able to earn for this race. So for each Grand Prix that you do, you can at max only get 40, which is a little unfortunate. So any extra coins I get, it's not really worth doing. But that's why I feel like I mentioned before, but the new battle mode, or returning battle mode, Coin Runners, is probably the best way to unlock a lot of these parts, because you're going to be able to get them a little bit easier when you don't have to deal with a hard set limit. You know, you can play a ton of Coin Runners, and quick matches just get so many coins more than you would get from a Grand Prix. So we are going to switch between doing battles and doing Grand Prix. And I also want to mention there's going to be a tournament here that you guys can join in. I'll put the info in the description, also put it up towards the end of the video where you can have the code and join in. If you got a Switch and you got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you can race as well. Look how happy he is. It's actually going to be a battle tournament for the first one. I think I'm going to alternate. We'll go back to the Feather Cups that we did years ago. It's crazy that it's been like 3 years now since the other game came out. But yeah, that was... the thing with the coins was something I never noticed before, but was in the old game as well. And we are going to get back to some of the fun that we had all those years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but yeah. We're going to have Feather Cup tournaments and also new battle tournaments as well to... I think I didn't do too much of battle mode in the original 8 just because it was a little lukewarm, and that is, you know, the whole reason they addressed it in this game and added in a more classic battle mode that's got so much more to it now. So some of the other stuff that was changed in this new version, speaking of tournaments and stuff, if you do play online, in the lobbies you can hit Y to switch your character and your cart loadout and everything. You can get all that set up while you're in the lobby, so you don't have to worry about, you know, exiting a group and then having to come back in and find everybody again and stuff like that. You can just stay in there and change all your settings right from the room while you're waiting and saying that you're using tilt controls or whatever. But yeah, so that's a good addition. There are those amiibo costumes in here that I do want to show you guys sometime if you'd like to see them. I've got the amiibos for them, but they also have, in addition to all the ones that they originally added and the newer ones like Sonic and Olimar and stuff like that, we also have a Splatoon one that has the kind of motorsport helmet that's actually a piece of Splatoon gear, but it looks, you know, not too different, almost more like an Excite bike sort of racer, so we will unlock that as well. And speaking of the Miis, a little bit unfortunate. Ooh, sometimes I gravitate towards the peels, thinking it's a coin from far off. Something that's a little unfortunate with the Miis that could be fixed in a future update is that they aren't really as emotive in this version. They don't really have too much expression when they're doing tricks and things like that. Usually they would smile and be very expressive in the first Mario Kart 8, but now they just kind of stare at you blankly. And I wonder if that has to do with the fact that Miiverse is not on the Switch. You know, they've limited the role of the Miis. The blooper, a thing I don't think I even remembered. It's been a while now, but I didn't remember that the blooper actually does make your controls a little bit slipperier. We have pretty good traction, so I didn't notice it. Other than blocking out your view, it does kind of mess with your controls a little bit. But yeah, good to see the bloopers in their home underwater here. So yeah, we're gonna have to try out the Mii with those new costumes, but unfortunately, they won't have it as much fun unless they fix that. That kind of reminds me of when Smash Brothers came out, there were issues with Rob, the little robot. He didn't like emote in the Wii U version compared to the 3DS, and I think they fixed that. So it's probably something that will get reversed or updated in the future here. And I wanted to mention, there's a weird thing with 200cc that we'll see when we jump into that here. But the red shells and spiny shells, the blue shells, you can actually outrun them in that faster speed, and that might be intended, maybe isn't. It's something that you would have to make sure you're hitting a bunch of boosts to really outrun them, but it's just funny that, yeah, you can really go fast enough to outrun some of the scarier weapons in the game and just put a lot of ground between you and that blue shell to maybe just not get hit by it at all. So I think that it sounds like something that maybe is just intended because it is kind of a skill-based thing, but at the same time, fire hopping took some skill to do to have to learn it. I certainly never learned how to do it, so who knows? We'll figure out. I'm sure that this is the type of thing where they're going to probably be releasing updates to it as we go, and maybe we'll see DLC. I'm not really sure, because this is kind of like a complete package sort of setup. We got all the stuff from the first game plus some, so I don't know. It seems like if Nintendo is smart about it, they're going to keep supporting this game like they're planning to do with Splatoon and Zelda and stuff like that, and keep adding new content to it. So that's what I'm hopeful for. I'd like to see more battle maps. As much as I love the ones that are in here, I saw some people in the comments talking about, I wish, Block Fort from Mario Kart 64 was in the game. That would be nice. I don't know if I could block that red shell with one of these ice cream cone cups, but that would have been good. But yeah, so I'm missing Block Fort. That was definitely my favorite playing Mario Kart 64. It's been so long with my friends just, laying traps all over the different forts, and ooh, that was maybe... it worked out for the best, but yeah. I was like, that maybe wasn't the best time to hit a mushroom when we're going around a corner. But this isn't 200cc, so we don't have to worry too much. I wonder if the Inklings are using the bloopers. They're getting the help from their brother from another mother, their sister from another sister. No, we got both of the Inklings in here. They're behind me, probably getting those bloopers. But yeah, it is something where I could see them expanding the amount of maps in battle mode, just like they did with the courses in the first one. And yeah, I'd like to see even more courses as well. There's so much other stuff. I know a lot of people have talked about how Kirby would be perfect for this game because he had his own racing game, Kirby's Air Ride, that it really feels like he would fit in here. And I'd like to see maybe a Kirby or space themed pack where we get Luma and we get Kirby, and I'm trying to think of a third character that would round that out. I'd love to see DDD or another Kirby character, because I think they probably fit in with Mario even better than some of the others that are in the game already, like Link. Okay, so yeah, we got a lot of the new racers in here. King Boo is a little behind as well. The characters typically have rivals in these games. I think most of the default non-unlockable characters have very set rivals. Like if you play as Mario, you'll usually see Bowser trying to race against you, and he'll be in one of the top spots typically. Bowser Jr., I don't know if he has a rival with the female villager, or rivalry set up with the girl villager or the Inklings or anything. I think they might just be in the mix because they're newer characters, so maybe they're a little more likely to pop up, just like the DLC tracks used to be more likely to find when it came out on the Wii U, so that you'd see them more likely. Ooh, thought I had a shell for a second. I just kind of, out of the corner of my eye, glanced and I saw red, so I was like, oh, that's a red shell. Nope, it's a mushroom. It worked out, though. This is definitely, when I was messing around with smart steering, this was the first course that it was really apparent the negatives that you can find with smart steering, because there's a couple shortcuts, especially this one of the first ones with a more clear-cut shortcut of the earlier tracks. There's that center path that you can go down. It'll open up on the next lap or so. You can see the giant stone rolling through there. But with smart steering on, you really have to fight a little bit. Let me see if we can do that, right in the middle of the race. I can show you guys what I mean. But smart steering, it typically, keeps you away from the sides of the track, and will, whenever that little antenna in the back flashes yellow, it's trying to direct me where, we're gonna slow down so we can take the shortcut. But yeah, it'll try to direct me back towards where we should go, but this is, I had to fight it there. It wasn't ready yet, but it's one of those things where if you try to take certain shortcuts, the smart steering will try to put you back on track towards the normal path. So that is one of the negatives. I do think it is really useful in 200cc, so it is like a trade-off, and it's almost in a way balancing the use of it. And when you do tournaments and things online, smart steering, there's an option to just remove the option to have everyone use it at all. So I think that it is considered to be a enhancement to your racing skill if you've got it going. And speaking of which, I'm gonna turn it off here and hopefully hit this corner. Oh no, lost my shell from that, but that's okay. We got a nice banana shield. Uh-oh, trying to use that super horn on me. I see you, riding her cute little moped. See ya. Okay, now I'm gonna go through here and we don't have to worry about the game trying to steer me the other way because I turned off smart steering. That is nice that, again, like you can change a lot of the settings in the online lobby. You can change a lot of your stuff right in the middle of the race here. I know a lot of people were like, man, how do I turn off smart steering because it's on by default? But that's one of those things where a lot of people might not know about it if it wasn't on in the first place. So I'm glad that they have that option in there. All right, wasn't sure if I was gonna do it, but I'm all inky and I managed to make it through. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's see what we unlocked here by beating our first cup in Deluxe. And I got all 3 stars, luckily. A little dicey towards the end there of that last race. We were kind of in the middle of the pack, but I made it back. Having 2 items definitely seems to help with defense, but at the same time, you're more likely to have someone throw out a spiny shell or something because they're going to get it a little easier with multiple items and double item boxes. All right, we got 60 coins. Let's see what we got. Probably cushion patchwork tires is my guess. Usually if you cross your fingers and you really want one of the new carts, you're going to get some tires or something. So let's see. Yep. Oh, almost. We got the hot monster. So I got the palette swap of the ones that we're using right now. So they're the same stats. I'm gonna keep unlocking stuff. They look good with a Koopa, and we will have that tournament. Here's the info for the tournament. If you want to join in, the first one's gonna be a battle tournament, but we'll alternate. That'll be this weekend. Hope you can join it. And if you're watching this later, you can join in another one in the future. Thanks for watching. Maybe subscribe if you haven't. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time for more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.